सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Hari Om. Yes. So someone wants to chant 24th and 25th verse first. Practice. All quiet on the war front. Am I audible?
May I, Dipti ji?
Hand it, please. Yeah.
24 and 25 now?
Ji.
त्वयि चान्यत्रैको विष्णु व्यर्थं कुप्यसि मय्य सहिष्णुः भवसमच्चित्तः सर्वत्र त्वं वाञ्छस्य चिराद्यति विष्णुत्वं शत्रौ मित्रे पुत्रे बन्धौ वा कुरु यत्नं विग्रहसन्धौ सर्वस्मिन्नपि पश्यात्मानं सर्वत्रोत्सिज भेदाज्ञानम्.
Yes. Good. 26 and 27. Oh, we have to do this today. Oh, okay. So someone can follow me? Wants to? Shalini? Okay. Kamam krodham lobham moham त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम्
त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम्
आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढाः ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढाः Since we are breaking it, we will not chant the half sa. If we were to chant it in one line, we would have chanted this sakar also. But we are breaking it up in 4 padas, so we are breaking them. Okay. Kamam krodham lobham moham tyaktvatmanam भावय कोऽहम्
कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम्
आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढास्ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः
आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढास्ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः
कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम् आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढास्ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः
कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम् आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढास्ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः
Next one also. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Sorry. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram.
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं
Sahasram.
सहस्रं
Dhyeyam Shripati
ध्येयं श्रीपति
Rupamajasram.
रूपमजस्रं
Jasram.
जस्रं
No ta. There is only ra.
ध्येयं श्रीपति रूपमजस्रं
No ta. Only ra. It is half sa
It's
and
not
ra.
tra.
No, it's not tra. It is ja and half ra. Half ja, half ra. Jasram.
जस्रं
Jasram. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram.
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं
The again.
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं
Ta is not there.
I didn't say the, I said sahasram.
Ah, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Dhyeyam Shripati Rupamajasram.
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपति रूपमजस्रं
नेयं सज्जनसङ्गे चित्तम्
ज्ञेयं सज्जनसङ्गे चित्तं
देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तम्
देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तम्
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रम् नेयं सज्जनसङ्गे चित्तं देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तम्
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रम् नेयं सज्जनसङ्गे चित्तं देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तम्
Good. Yes. Anybody else wants to try? 26th and 27th verse.
Can I try?
Yeah. Kamam krodham lobham moham
Kamam, krodham, lobham, moham,
त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम्
त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावयकोऽहम्
आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढाः
आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढाः
ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः
ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढाः
कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम्
कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावयकोऽहम्
आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढास्ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः
आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढा ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढाः
कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावय कोऽहम् आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढास्ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः
कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं भावयकोऽहम् आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढाः ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढाः
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रम्
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रम्
ध्येयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रम्
ध्येयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रम्
ज्ञेयं सज्जनसङ्गे चित्तम्
ज्ञेयं सज्जनसङ्गे चित्तम्
देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तम्
देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तम्
गेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रम्
ज्ञेयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रं
नेयं कंटिन्यू
ज्ञेयं नेयं सज्जनसङ्गे चित्तम् देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तम्
good, very good. So we'll start the class. The last verse that we saw was Shatrau Mitre. In reference to Shatru, do not have a sense of virod, a sense of animosity. Do not develop animosity, even if provoked. Even if provoked. So the first word itself is like a discipline through alertness. That as we live life, there are going to be all kinds of situations and people, and very often, or sometimes, one would face a situation where you are perceived as an enemy by someone, or you perceive an enemy somewhere in someone. It is rare, I would say, it is rare that it's a mutual feeling of animosity equally. Most often, we also find, despite our best intentions, despite being noble ourselves, we get perceived by others with a sense of imposed wickedness upon us. It is imposed upon us, even though we know in our minds, in our heart, that in your vaguest dreams also, you would never have thought of such things. And it can take you by surprise that someone else can perceive you like that. That becomes a kind of a provoke, being provoked. to also develop certain kind of a negativity within yourself, a virodha bhav. You would want to offer an explanation, you would want to offer a justification, you would want to offer a clarification to say that it's a misunderstanding, it is not at all so, but you also know it's futile, because whoever holds it against you already has made up their mind that you are so and so. So, any amount of your justification will only strengthen that, because they will not see that you are justifying to clarify yourself, not because you are in any way guilty of it, but because you want shanti in the environment, because you want peace in the environment. So, you are ready to let go your own personal feeling or bhav or ego or whatever you want to call, and you would say, okay, let us not further a sense of virod, because if someone holds it against me, what is a student's interest in clarifying? Or if they want to dissolve that virod bhav, what would be a student's interest? Certainly not to prove that you are right. It is to know that if someone persistently looks upon you with a sense of virod, there is a very strong chance that you will also develop it. It will provoke you, it will trigger you. Your understanding, your wisdom, your self control, your purusharth may hold you back up to a point of your stamina. But if the when you're projected, the one who projects is firm about it, then you know that this is likely a situation where if I am perceived as an enemy, then very likely I will also develop it in time. Shatrau virodhe. Do not have a virodha bhav in yourself. How do you manage not having it when someone looks upon you like that? That's part A. You have to discover, you have to find ways. Whatever way it is, you cherish your own chitta shuddhi. Your own chitta shuddhi, you know, as a student, is primary goal of your life. If you lose chitta shuddhi, you lose everything. But if you give in, supposing, and virod bhav is not developed further, I'm sorry, if you give in and try and explain, nothing works, but you're not dealing with it and the virod bhav sets in. Once it sets in, your chitta shuddhi, you will have double work now. Because once one raga dvesh enters in any form, shatrau means dvesh. And very interesting to observe, where does dvesh enter one's life from? Where does it dvesh? It's not a simple dislike. I don't like chocolate ice cream. I won't have it. It's not harming anyone. In fact, it's better that I don't like, because my sugar intake remains. So it's no problem in not liking certain things. But when I develop dvesh, that feeling should be identified. What is that nature of that feeling? How does it enter a person? Very often we think it enters through our mind. Just as rag and dvesh, they are perceptions of our mind. But dvesh can also enter through the buddhi. In fact, dvesh most often comes through buddhi. How does it come through buddhi? Buddhi has limited capacity to understand. When you do not understand why the other person is saying or doing or you know behaving or anything, your buddhi gets into a state of non-apprehension, misapprehension. And once it comes into a stage of doubt, I don't know, that's the time when a persistent contact of such sensory nature is kept. It is bound to create a dvesh at some point, because The data is not there for the buddhi to become, to shed away its ignorance. So, Shatru Bhav, most of us say we do not have it. How do we develop Shatru Bhav? It is both ways. Someone looks upon me, and if I think, how am I don't have any Shatru Bhav. But you are not exempt that you will never have it. There are two things. Either you have not understood yourself fairly well, either you have not understood what a Shatru Bhav is. You take Shatru Bhav to be an extreme, like Arjun and Pandav's case of Shatruta, where you are ready to kill each other. In everyday life, certainly that's not the level of Shatruta that one would experience, normally speaking. But Dvesh is also Shatru Bhav, because you project the other very powerfully, and your mind holds a certain degree of violence even if your body doesn't cooperate there. In your mind, that dvesh is enough, even if it has come through buddhi, non understanding, even then. So here Acharya tells us, be careful. Do not ma kuru, mat karo. मत करो, क्या मत करो? शत्रु का विरोध मत करो. Do not develop the virodhita, which amounts to making a shatru bhav in you, calling someone a shatru. That animosity, makuru, curb it at the beginning. Handle it in the very source, at the very offset. So both places, either someone looks at you like that, there'll be a different management, self-management for that. When you develop a dvesh for someone, there's a different management for that then. When you develop a dvesh for someone, what will it be because of? Why do you look upon someone as a shatru? When do you start looking upon someone as a virod bhav? You have a virod for it. You look upon them as someone who can harm your interest. When you think someone can harm your interest, and it may not be totally under your capacity to manage, that helplessness feeling can bring up the dvesh. And if that helplessness brings up a dvesh, it will amount to Shatru Bhav at some point, if it's not checked in time. Thus, the very beginning he says, first, Shatru Bhava, Shatru Virodha Makuru. Do not have animosity for anyone. Also, Ma Kuru, Mitra, Mitra, do not develop too much Mitrata. What is the characteristic of Mitrata, of a friendship? What is a fundamental characteristic of a friendship because of which a friendship is formed? The starting. Why do you become friends? Why do you look upon someone as a friend and someone else as an enemy?
Maybe because our like and their like matches.
Sorry?
Maybe because our like and their like
Yes.
matches.
Correct. Because our likes matches, our values may match, our thinking may match, our orientations may match, whatever you call it. But because there is a match of thoughts, immediately there is an affection that rises. There is a fondness that develops. There is a like that comes. What is the difference between a friend and an enemy? For an enemy, we said you have a virodha bhav, there is a dvesha bhav. For a mitra, what do you have? A sneha bhav. You have a rag that forms. Rag by word revising, ranjate. Ranjate is the root meaning of the word from where rag word comes. Ranjate means that which colors your mind. So when someone and your values or your preferences, your likes and dislikes, even dislikes match, when two people have a common enemy, even if supposing there are three people, strangers, two people have one common enemy amongst the three, but the other two they did not know beforehand. But the minute they know that the third one is their common enemy, what happens between these two? मित्रता हो जाती है. How do we form conversations when we are traveling by train or wherever? Especially in trains, it used to be. Now I do not know. It used to be great fun to travel in trains because with strangers you could have conversations, and invariably the first question would be what? आप कहाँ से हैं? The minute you ask आप कहाँ से हैं, and if you have the same uh, place स्थान, state or locality, or someone from that sthan, immediately a bond is established. You don't need any other conversation. Instantly there is this knownness, familiarity. That is mitrata. When it becomes more and more uh, stronger, it becomes a sneha. That exclusive sneh will always bring an exclusive dvesh, because wherever you find excessive sneh in a particular relation, there will be dvesh for those who will try, you will be looked upon as uh, interfering in the relation. I don't know another word. When you have a close, in schools it happened, no, when you were close friend with someone and they brought another close friend, they said, oh, they will also join our group. एकदम से क्या होता था उस नए इंसान के लिए? You felt, supposing you were a group of two or three people and you were very close, tight knit with each other. Say we were three friends sitting in a row always, and then one of them brought in one more and we had to shift one table. The first day it looked very funny, it looked very odd. Suddenly there was this someone as, it's like, you have broken the close knitness by bringing in another one. So wherever there is a close knitness, it is always going to also simultaneously become available for dvesha bhav. Automatically it will become available for dvesha bhav. So he says, ma kuru. Shatru se virod, ma kuru. Do not do. Mitra se sneh, ma kuru. मर गए हम तो सब, अब क्या करेंगे? मतलब चलो शत्रु से विरोध ना करना is easier. मित्र से स्नेह ना करना ना, how will we live a life? How are you? What sort of an advice is this? कि मित्र से भी स्नेह नहीं करना. What he means to say is excessive involvement with any relation, and these are our basic dependencies on which we express our own identity. We depend on friends, we depend upon finding a common enemy, because what is all gossiping? People who gossip, they love gossiping. What are they actually doing when they gossip about another person? What is being done? What is gossip fundamentally? So,
Your utilizing speech uselessly and brain also.
that is correct. But here in this context, what are you doing? Exactly. You by excluding someone, third category, there is this dependency you have of making a relationship, forming a relationship based on a third person looking down upon. You feel this is affirmative. You know, that he says here, that's the right word, encouraging a common dislike. You're encouraging a common dislike. And you get a very egoistic pleasure out of a sadistic pleasure is the right word probably. You get a very subtle kind of a pleasure when you are encouraging a common dislike. That is what it is. He says, Shatru Mitre, in both of them, for a student of the truth, for a student, it is this Shastra is advising a seeker. Remember, after every verse, Bhaj Govindam. You need time for Bhaj Govindam. It is not a general advice for people who are living without a higher purpose in life, a higher goal in life. They cannot but do all this. If you take away from this from them, their naturalness to develop hatred and feel good about themselves, if you take that away, what will you be doing? Anybody remembers the Gita verse?
You will get confused and end up doing nothing.
Okay. Another verse? That's right. I'm saying Shastra is not telling a non seeker this advice. A non seeker is bound to remain doing Shatruta, Mitrata, Putrata, Bandhutvam. Uska ye natural vyavhar hai, leave him to do that. What is the verse which tells us no, not Mithyachari? Give you the English translation, you can look for the verse. Do not unsettle the minds of those attached to fruits. What is attached to fruits? It doesn't just,
Materialistic.
huh?
Materialistic. I remember.
Not just materialist. The see how you have to start deriving it just out of that. What is the meaning of that verse? In the context, it is Karam Yoga. But here, if you bring it, Shastra's giving the advice to whom? To a seeker. Do not be watchful in yourself. You should not have Virodha Bhav growing in you. You should also not have Sneha Bhav for any A, B, C, X, Y, Z extra developing in you. Set to a seeker, not to a non seeker. To a non seeker of higher values, and here in the context, ultimately moksha, to them, do not disturb their mind by giving them these principles if they are not ready for it. Let them remain attached to their way of life. Let them remain attached and feel fulfilled whichever way they do. In time, everyone develops vairagyam when they burn their fingers, when they have some experience like that, which makes their Vivek Shakti waken up and say, what did I do? Why am I like this? Where is, when they start seeking from within, this is a guide map for them. Those who want to pursue the higher values, those who want, other than the methods of the world, discover a way of living whereby, along with the next verse, we will see the primary thing that is most precious to any student is Antakarana Shanti. This is the primary thing that is most essential to a student. They will give up. A real student will say, you take away my wealth, you take away my health, you take away everything from me. Refuse to cooperate. Those feelings or encourage those thoughts in me which are tomorrow going to grow stronger and become rag and dvesh. It's too much of a loss for one who understands the values that Shastra teaches us. Therefore, for a person who's seeking the higher values, to them is said, do not move, be careful how you develop your relations, how you manage your relations. Too much of an excessiveness of any feeling good or bad, both will become sources of your disturbance at another point of time. They will both bind you. And you will not see it at that time. By the time it has grown into it'll occupy your mind, and you will have no time left ultimately for Bhaj Govindam. Your mind will be filled with, even if it's a friend and their life, their everything, you are filling friendly duties. You're doing friendly duties. After all, a friend also has a duty. But what if you don't have a purpose in life? Great. Friendly duty, you ought to. But there should be a limit. If your mind gets completely engrossed in only doing those things, then you are not doing Bhaj Govindam. And if you are denying yourself Bhaj Govindam, time and practice of it, reflection of it, then you have lost your way. आपका रास्ता भटक गया है. हमें लगता है क्या? हमें लगता है हम अच्छी वैल्यू जी रहे हैं. But compared to the higher that you are pursuing, आप उससे there is a particular word, योग भ्रष्ट. योग भ्रष्ट is the word. I think so. आप अपने रास्ते से भटक गए. And why is it primary? It's the greatest service, really speaking. It takes us very long to appreciate this. But self growth, attention on your higher values, is one of the greatest services. Indirectly also, directly to hota hi hai, but indirectly also it benefits far more people than what you would have thought. That little effort that you would have put in for a friend, whatever you think. And this is an advice that is given in parampara. It's not here Deepthi Vishwanath saying it. This is an advice given in parampara to whoever, because this Shastra is Vedanta Shastra here, to all those who were seeking. Remember, with Shankara, they were all sannyasis. There are 1,000 leakages in our own pursuit. What do we mean by leakages? Here, through Shravanam, through disciplined hearing, Varam Varam, we do fill our mind with the right thoughts. But we have lot of chidra. Our equipments have a lot of small openings from where this dissipates itself. What are those few dissipations he's pointed here? Virodh bhav, sneha bhav. And with putra and bandhu, whatever happens, vigraha and sandhi, yatnam that happens. In all of these, the emphasis is ma kuru yatnam. Too much effort. Excuse me. Not don't have too excessive an effort over there. Why? Because सर्वस्मिन्नपि पश्यात्मानं सर्वोत् उत्सृज भेद अज्ञानम. Giving give up all this feeling of mine and not mine. Shatru means not mine. Parabhav. Mitra means my, where I develop the sneha bhav. That is a bhed that I am holding on to. The people I like, people who tally with my value structure, the people who have similar likes and dislikes as I have, these are the people that I have divided myself versus those. That versus वो ऐसे हैं, वो तो लेकिन हमसे अलग हैं. वो जो भेद बुद्धि बनती है, give this up. What do? Sarvasmin api. In everyone. Try to keep a sama drishti. Sama drishti is a practice. We all are always, it constantly needs development because Vyavhar keeps attacking that sama drishti. There is always a preference we find by natural instincts move towards those that we are likely to agree with and move away from those that we likely disagree with. Towards both of them, he says, you start developing a sarva samabhava. Start seeing sameness in all of them. How do you see sameness in all of them? Common denominator, as I call it. See the common denominator. Come to the common denominator. How do you come to the common denominator? One of the ways is, if supposing it's a shatru or a putra or a bandhu or anyone, you have this excessive feeling. Ultimately, what I am is what they are. I have my flaws, they have their flaws. I am good in certain things, they are good in certain things. I am misunderstood, they are misunderstood. I want appreciation, they want appreciation. Whatever, find some method in which you can find a common denominator. The best common denominator is bring it to Ishwar, everything, bring it backwards, trace it backward to its source, and the source is Ishvara. Common, Tvameva Mata Pita Tvameva. For whom? Is it only for us? Is that prayer Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva only applicable to a certain set of people? Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva. You are only all my relations. And you are the same for all of them. You are a mother and father for as parents. We can have different kinds of children, but the parent is a parent to all of them. In the same way, bringing ourselves to common denominator. Find the common denominator. Find your own buddhi. Use it and see where you find. These are the two examples I've given of discovering the common denominator. What is the first example? I find sarvasmin api, like me only everyone is. I and you are not different, really speaking. Start from the body. An exercise, very helpful. When you think, depending on whoever has which weakness, if you are attached to the body, if you value the body qualities, bring it down to organs. How many eyes do you have?
Two, Deepti.
How many eyes do I have?
Two.
How many ears do you have?
Two.
How many ears do I have? How many limbs do I have? Limbs.
Two hands, 2 feet.
4. How many do you have?
Same.
Same. Common denominator. If I have a heart problem, who do I go to?
Doctor.
Which doctor?
The cardiologist.
You go. Everybody goes to the same doctor. Why is there only one doctor for all of us having different heart conditions? But as long as it's a heart condition, we all go to a cardiologist. Why? Because our hearts are the same. The anatomy of the heart doesn't change. So you can have the same doctor. That means your heart and my heart, physical heart we're talking about at the moment, physical body we're talking, bring it to common denominator. Does the color of the skin make us different? Does the height of the bones make us different? My height of the bones makes me some feet tall. Your femur is longer, my femur is a little shorter than your femur, but the bone is the femur only, the tibia and the femur and the fibula with the knee joint. It's the same skeleton. Common factor. The minute you reflect on the common factor, If you're not ready for it, you're not even a student of the Shastra anyway, then. So you better to quietly quit away, go do your bhoga, go enjoy the world, go all this, wherever you find the enjoyments. Silently move away, keep yourself to your family and friends, uh, have your party, have do whatever you with. It's okay. That's also one of the ways to live life. But if you have yourself concluded that this is not, there's something more that one can achieve or do, at least employ your life for, and if Shastra holds and you have Shraddha in it, then all these Bhed Buddhi becomes an impediment to your own goal and its fructification. It's not a judgment that Shastra is putting on us. Our own ragadvesh are our impediments to our Jnana Nishtha. So Bhaj Govindam being a simpler text, more direct, conveying through the emotional aspect as well. It says it is in the form of Shatruta and Mitrata, those that, what is the, how do they enter? They'll enter through your buddhi, through your senses, through your mind. We saw that in one of the verses also. It is these senses through which the ragadvesh also enters. So to neutralize them, sarvasminapi pashyatmana. Atmanam pashya. The word is pashya, dekho. It's in the usage of saying look. It's not requesting, please look. देख लोगे तो अच्छा होगा. Shastra at certain times uses such a strong command. It's a verb of a command. It's a verb of an order. देखो, तुम्हारे हित में है ये. Look at everyone, sarvasmin, at everyone. Atmanam, as yourself. So our physical body is common denominator, our minds common denominator. What is the common denominator in our minds? All of us have the same things in the mind. What is it? We do this in every class almost. Anji, you'll have to be a little louder because I think my fan, when it's on, I can't hear you, and my computer's audio probably is not so good. So, what is the common denominator expressing in our mind as?
Thoughts.
Okay, thoughts is also a good way to say.
Poetry.
Okay, but that's the composition of the mind. You're right. We all have the same, or both of you correct. What is it, the common expression of the mind in all of us? राग द्वेष अहंकार, yes. How does it express itself? मन में क्या आता है? हम सबके मन में क्या आता है? क्या चाहिए हम? हाँ जी, लाउडर, आई कांट हेयर यू.
शांति चाहिए, विचार आता
हाँ,
है.
शांति चाहिए, सबको चाहिए. और क्या चाहिए? और क्या नहीं चाहिए? अशांति नहीं चाहिए. We all have desires, correct? We all seek happiness. We all seek shanti. We all do not want disturbance. We all do not want, yes, we all want sukha and we do not want dukha. Period. Sabka mind same hai. We are all affected with insecurity. Even an animal, a hungry animal. Yes, happiness is absolutely correct. A hungry animal. Supposing there's a stray animal and has been hungry, and there is food, it discovers food in front, and you can see the expression of that animal. If anybody's ever observed this, sudden expression of fulfillment that comes on that face of that animal. It could be a cow, it could be a dog who has been hungry, and as it moves towards it, the eagle from top comes and takes it away. What is the emotion of that animal? Is it different from how I would feel? Common denominator. Pashya. Do that exercise again and again till your mind is neutralized to a relative level and you find freedom from your own raga dvesh and yearnings for its fulfillment. That is the verse, revising again, 25th verse. Because uh, give up this, what is the basic point? Give up. Utsrija. Sarvatra, everywhere. Utsrija. Uh, this bhed that comes up. Give up this bhed that comes up. Because that bhed comes up because of agyan. So as long as I do not have gyan, I have this battle going on all the time. It's a tug of war between Kauravas and Pandavas within me. मेरे अंदर के कौरव और मेरे अंदर के पांडव का टग ऑफ वॉर चलता रहता है। ये शत्रु और मित्र मेरे अंदर हैं, हमारी अपनी पार्टी अंदर बनती रहती है, you know, who's on our side, who's on our side, and we have to discover the Krishna because he's the negotiator in between. Where is this Krishna sitting within me who will negotiate my raga dvesh and bring me to the point of neutrality? What is that neutrality? Common denominator. Was okay, everyone? Clear was?
Sweet. I have a question.
Hmm.
What do you do after sameness?
Can't hear you, louder.
What do you do after sameness?
After?
After you discover a sameness with the other person, whether it be a friend or a foe.
What do you do after you discover sameness?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of go through the pain, then you discover similarity.
Yeah,
Say, even with your children, you discover similarity and don't discover a difference.
right.
What beyond that?
The purpose of discovering this is what?
Um, that the world is one, unity, oneness,
What is the
wholeness.
purpose? Why do you want to do that? What is the Shastra telling us? Why should we do this effort of bringing the sameness? Is it an end goal in itself? You are asking the same
No,
question, but I am asking you so that you can discover the answer yourself. I'm probing to help you discover your answer. So, why, once you found the similarity, what is the purpose of finding the similarity?
or to stem, to chop off a series of thoughts.
And then do what? What should you do if you chop them off?
After that, you can concentrate on yourself,
That's it. To concentrate on yourself, what do you need?
silent mind,
All right. It's
stillness.
quiet, silent mind. Just a quiet, silent mind is enough.
The second,
Quiet, silent mind, is that an end goal in itself? You should do something with that quiet, silent mind also. What should you do with that quiet,
Bhaja
silent?
Govindam.
Ah, you got it. Ultimately, you must direct this quietness that you have achieved towards more positive, productive direction, which is learn the higher Shastra, learn, gain Shravanam of Atma Vidya, wherever, whichever source, doesn't matter, as long as it's an authentic one. Go on listening to it till your mind is able to make, um, understand it, and you become reflective over what you hear. That is the purpose. Why he's asking us to do the sameness exercise. Because if you don't do that sameness exercise, that purpose is lost. That's why I said only for the seekers will it become meaningful. Because they still want to do something better in their life. Okay? So we'll move forward. Next verse. No other question up to this point, I presume. It's crystal clear to everyone. All right. So we'll move forward. Now he says similar thing in a different way. The point is, the tatparyam is the same, that's why I elaborated it before. What is it? We have sources of disturbances within us. Our mind gets disturbed. Once our mind is disturbed, we lose our shanti. Ashant manaha kutah sukham, kutasya sukham. Ashantasya manaha kutasya sukham. Kuta sukham. Where is the sukh for one whose mind is ashant? Again, which was, please look. You know, where is going to be happiness for a person whose mind is disturbed? In avidya, we don't understand the causes of our disturbance. So Shastra is helping us break them down to identify these are the causes which disturb my mind. And again, it's a common denominator. So we all have the same causes. Our intensities may be different, particularities may be different, but Shastra has reduced it to the common point that we can all identify. What is the first point? Kamam, desires. Kamna. Having desires means I am presuming that I lack something and I want something. Desire, matlab, the meaning of desire is I want something. When that wantness intensifies, strengthens, it gains a force. Yes, 66. It gains a force which pushes me to seek fulfillment through action. That restlessness of the desire from within, agitation builds in my mind, and my mind, agitated mind, activates my organs of action, and I am propelled to do something about this desire, and I want to fulfill myself or avoid pain, whichever way. So, kamam means fulfillment of seeking fulfillment, seeking happiness in the external world through the external means. What is external? Outside of my body. What I look upon as objects. So I look upon the gain of an object to fulfill the lack that I feel, thinking that once I gain that object, that lack will be filled and then I will regain my shanti and happiness. Because I won't be wanting it. If my want gets handled, there'll be no want. If there is no want, then I'll be happy. Is this chronology understood? Is the chronology understood what I just said? There is a want felt. This want gains strength if I don't pay attention to it. Go back to 60 to 63. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. Constantly that want will keep emerging in my mind. Why is the want come? Because I feel I don't have it. I feel lacking, then I have a want that arises, and through that want, when it strengthens itself, then I feel that I will do, it propels my body to do, to get into action. To get that, acquire that, once I feel I'll acquire that object, then this want will disappear. It'll go away because now I have it. It'll be, I want it will get replaced with I have it. So I want is disturbing me, is making me unhappy. I presume that I have it will make it okay. My mind will be okay then because now I have it, so I will be happy. Is that so? Shastra tells us examine. Is any desire, first of all, any desire ever going to be fulfilled? Is it possible to fulfill desires completely? No. Because, firstly, whatever I want, the world is not obliged to give it to me as I want. यहाँ कोई नियम नहीं है कि जो मुझे चाहिए वो मुझे मिलेगा. Is it a law? जो एप्पल ऊपर गिरा और नीचे आई एम सॉरी जो ऊपर गया वो नीचे गिरेगा, नियम है. The object that went up has to come down is a law. Is there any such law in the world that what I want, I will get? Do you know of any such law?
I think they're talking of law of attraction and
No, no, no.
like
Let's not debate there. Let's stick to the verse. That's a totally different point. That's not related here. What we are trying to say is what Bhaj Govindam is telling us. So that's another school of thought process. It's a general thing completely. Stick to, is any desire possible to be fulfilled? Even if you say, okay, I'll go along since you brought it up. Even if you say, yeah, that's right, if only. Even if you say the law of attraction, say, I'll get what I. Does the law of attraction say that you'll remain happy with it? The law of attraction says you will get. But does the law of attraction says it will make you happy?
yeah, I don't know the law of attraction.
Then you shouldn't have brought it up. But presuming that it is, I've read about it a bit, so I'm extending it to say, fitting it in here. No, the law is only telling us how to get objects, but the law doesn't say, it's not a law that the objects that you get will make you happy. The whole world would be happy otherwise. Everybody would be happy because all of us seek something and all of us have got something at least in life what we sought. But our happiness is not paramount to that what we got. So, A, whatever we desire, there is no obligation in the world that it should fulfill us. There is no law that says, we should give it to them because they desire it. B, even if it gets fulfilled, there is no guarantee that it will give you happiness. It's not written that that acquisition will give me happiness. I presumed that it will give me happiness because the want is felt. And I imposed that want on the absence of an object. And I thought that that presence of the object will make my want be no want. And no want will be now happiness because obviously, if I don't want it, I'll be happy. I've already got it. Getting it will make me happy. That is no guarantee that it will make you happy. Third thing, there is no guarantee that once you've got it and you've got happiness out of it, also supposing, there is no guarantee that that happiness is lasting. Therefore, A, I did not have, there is no guarantee that the desire should be fulfilled. If it is fulfilled, B, there is no guarantee that I'll get happiness. Even if I've got happiness, there is no guarantee that that happiness will last. Therefore, there is no guarantee that I will not get sorrowful at another point of time. Therefore, there is no guarantee that this desire will not multiply itself. Today I wanted this much, tomorrow I will want that much. There is no guarantee. Desire, bottom line is, Shastra will equate it to analaha, fire. Fire, just as fire says, never says I've had enough. Calm, the nature of calm is I have never had, it is never enough. It goes on receding. I get something, it recedes. My wants transfer themselves to something else. My wantingness does not does not get addressed by acquisition, fulfillment of desire. The need, the wantingness remains. I only fool myself to say, ah, now I'm happy because the gain of the object gave me some temporary happiness. But the wantingness, it couldn't cancel, it doesn't deal with, it doesn't delete it. So I become wanting again. And yes, the story of if only, but we'll take it up another time. We are already above time by now. So, in the next class. Okay? Correct. It never says enough. Absolutely. Yes. So, we'll conclude the class here. Om Sarvesham Swastir Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave, Asato Ma Satkamaya, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. We'll continue this verse in the next class.
Thank you, Deepti ji. Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om. No question?
Recording stopped.
Deepti, it's Pratipaksh Bhav, what you're saying.
Pratipaksh.
Pratipaksh Bhav, right? So if you have a liking towards something, you neutralize it.
Yes, Pratipaksh Bhav is a method, a technique employed to neutralize the excessive value that we hold, which build up in our mind the disturbance to gain fulfillment. So to neutralize it is Pratipaksh. Here he is talking about finding the commonness. Okay. All right. Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone. Thank you.